Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between DowaQ and Czech here on Twisted Meadows right now. Here we have Czech spawning over here at the, as the yellow Night Elf player at the 10 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have DowaQ spawning over here on the bottom right hand corner at the 4 o'clock position as the blue Undead player. And right now we have an Ultra of Darkness and a Ziggurat and a Crypt, so most likely DowaQ will be going the standard ghouls with that Death Knight right now. Meanwhile, over here, Czech getting that Ultra of Elders and that Moonwell, also setting up that Ancient of War for that Ancient of War creeping against this 5/3/3 creep camp right here, which will give, I'm going to assume the Demon Hunter almost level 2 at this point. And was looking for a pretty good replay. Most of the replays that were suggested were the Shadow League replays, and those are once again posted or should be posted on the Shadow League website, if not by today, by tomorrow. Also, you can watch it on a little bit of a less high quality over here at my live stream account. Those of you guys who have been paying attention to my live stream or follow me on Twitter know that I do in fact livecast some of my games. Right now we have DowaQ getting that the Death Knight and getting that Tome of Relics and getting an additional ghoul. A ghoul now going ahead and scouting clockwise in position will not find, and they will both find out that this is going to be a cross-map spawn. Meanwhile, we have the Warden being trained from Czech, so no Demon Hunter, a Warden being trained instead of that Demon Hunter. Most likely that Ancient of War is now completed, and that Archer is now being trained up as well. So pretty much a standard build coming in. We'll see how this game really plays out. Ziggurats being placed in order to try to protect those acolytes, as those acolytes are just sitting there waiting to get killed and haunting that gold mine right now. Death Knight, I'm going to be popping out in just a second. Rod of Necromancy is going to be purchased, and well, he should be able to purchase a Rod of Necromancy. He might have to wait a couple seconds as he does not have that much gold right now. Meanwhile, we have some Wisp now heading out. Archers, Ghouls, and Ghoul trying to deal some damage to that Wisp, and that Ancient of War now taking some damage as well. Ghoul versus that Archer. Wondering why that Archer isn't fighting against that Ghoul. The Ghoul would be able to win in that particular matchup as the low hit point on that low hit point Ghoul, but the Warden's not going to come in. Get a Shadow Strike off? No Shadow Strike off, and the Ancient of War taking a lot of damage right now. Wisp now coming in from that north hand side, and we have a secondary Ancient of War being built for that mercenary creep camp. Meanwhile, we have that Death Knight coming around the corner with a couple Ghouls and a Rod of Necromancy. Sells the Rod of Necromancy, the Squirrel Town portal, and has Dust of Appearance. So really investing heavily into this early fight right now. Ancient of War rooting himself back down, and the Death Knight wants to try to finish off this particular creep camp. A nice Shadow Strike on a low hit point Ghoul. Ghoul is going to be forced to run back out right now, down to 96 hit points, and able to take a Death Coil and steal that experience right now. A Ghoul down to 76 hit points, may get another Death Coil off in order to try to save it. Nice pathing coming in. Warden now trying to chase, will not be able to chase. Now get a nice Death Coil off on that Archer. Archer down to 65 hit points. Meanwhile, this Ghoul is down to 56 hit points. Another Shadow Strike, so the Warden's going to get perhaps 2 Ghoul kills very early off in the game. So Czech getting that 1 kill over here, and now we have a Scouting Wisp as well. And we have that Death Knight now trying to finish off this No Warden. Down goes that No Warden. So Death Knight and that Warden pretty much sitting at the same amount of experience right now. Warden now going to be coming into the base. Warden perhaps, if he can find that low hit point, or if you can find that low hit point Ghoul. Mass amount of Ghouls now heading off across the map. So those Ghouls will be pushing into that base right here, and Czech does not have a lot of room to hide those Archers right now. So, and also those Ancient of Wars are not in that base right there. But no, those Ghouls are now just going to come around and try to do some creeping, as that Death Knight perhaps going to buy a Staff of Teleportation and a Boots of Speed. No, just a Boots of Speed, no Staff of Teleportation, as those Ghouls are now going to be trying to take down those Null Wardens and this Null Overseer right here. I do not see a Warden anywhere nearby. Warden now coming in from that south side, sitting at level 2. Down, is that Ghoul gonna go down? Yeah, that Ghoul does go down to a Shadow Strike. So now that, no, probably not. Actually, now that I look about it a little bit more closely, I don't think the Warden got any experience off of that. Nice detonation to kill 2 more of those skeletons. Warden definitely got some experience off of that. Death Knight now trying to come in, has a Claws of Attack +6 and a Boots of Speed, trying to take down that Archer. Archer going to try to run away as quickly as she can. Down to 172, 137 hit points. Very low, down to 98 hit points. Death Knight does not have enough for a Death Coil, down to 61. Archer's going to try to get some pathing in, getting in front of that Archer. Archer down to 25 hit points. Down it goes, so 1 Archer does go down. Ghoul's now going to be coming in from this east side, as those skeletons are now coming in as well. So Ghoul's not gonna be taking down that Moonwell. Moonwell's gonna be cancelled. Detonation once again taking down some more skeletons. Death Knight has no mana pretty much as the Warden comes back in. Warden gonna come back in and continue to push perhaps And now we have a Tree of Ages currently being teched and a Huntress Hall being built as well. So the Death Knight now trying to run back away with that Unholy Aura will be able to get a surround on that Warden. Warden does not want to be surrounded. Going to go ahead and back out right now. Death Knight does not have enough mana in order to get a Death Coil off. So if that Ghoul does get Shadow Strike, that Ghoul may go down. But instead, the Warden is now that Warden playing some defense. Warden perhaps is going to wake up the creeps. I'm going to buy a Boots of Speed. No, not buying a Boots of Speed. The Warden, or the Death Knight, instead sells. I'm not sure what he sold. At this point right now, as the Warden continuing to fight, the Warden not doing a Shadow Strike on that Death Knight. The Death Knight moving really quickly with that Unholy Aura. Wow, that's moving fairly fast right now. Ooh, and we have archers in play as well. So archers not getting revealed with that Dust of Appearance right now. Ghouls now coming in and now trying to take some damage on that Warden. The Warden now being forced to run back away. And now Archer is going to be coming in, able to focus down and take down a single Ghoul. So 4 archers really breaking Shadow Meld in order to deal a lot of damage to that low hit point Ghoul and once again focus those units down. Check and playing some good micro right now. Able to pick off a unit that I wouldn't normally say would be able to be picked off right now. Death Knight now continuing to try to fight. Warden trying to be pushed to the back. Death Knight trying to run around that corner. Warden still getting a couple slashes in. The Ancient of War still sitting here, not doing any additional creeping, and another Ancient of War perhaps trying to set up an expansion over here at this position. Death Knight now continuing to try to push in a little bit of a juke fake. Right now we have the Tree of Ages. Currently building, I believe, Ancient of Lore. So we have a single Ancient of Lore, no dual Ancient of Lores. Meanwhile, Halls of the Dead nearing completion. We should have a Lich coming out in just a moment. Warden now trying to run back away. Death Knight, on the other hand, is still coming back around that corner. Archers unable to do any creeping as their archers are constantly being forced to push to the back right now. Warden sitting at 150 mana, a good amount of mana. Ancient of War now taking a lot of damage, but those a Rock Golem not joining the fight and getting a boulder off on that Death Knight. Low hit point Ghoul going to be trying to run back away right now. Warden down to 94 mana. That Ghoul will be able to escape as those Pandurian Brewmaster from Czech. So Czech getting a Pandurian Brewmaster as his secondary hero to really be able to counter those ghouls. And DowaQ is going to be forced to pull those units to the back right now. Right now we have DowaQ training a Lich, building a slaughterhouse, and teching the Black Citadel all at the same time. So really breaking into tier 3 as most Undead players like to do. Ghoul now being forced to try to run back right now, and we have the Death Knight continuing to try to take down some of these units. Slow being casted on that Death Knight. Death Knight moving really slowly. Pandurian Brewmaster sitting at level 2. Death Knight still trying to run back away right now, and Ghouls now coming back into the base. One Nerubian Tower in the base. I do not see any upgrades on those Ghouls. Perhaps you will get Ghoul Frenzy, but no, getting some Crypt Fiends now. So this may be a switch in tech right now. We have Abolish Magic and Dryads joining the army. The second Ancient of Lore kind of hiding behind that Tree of Ages right there. Meanwhile, we have that Death Knight once again trying to run away from that Warden. Warden getting a Shadow Strike off on that Death Knight. Death Knight with that Boots of Speed should be able to escape without any issues. Warden chasing will not be able to come in. Lich gonna get a Frost Nova off. No Frost Nova off, and selling some items. I think he sold the Dust of Appearance, so didn't even really use the Dust of Appearance, selling his Boots of Speed and the Claws of Attack plus, or giving the Claws of Attack +6 to that Lich, waiting for that Black Citadel to near completion. Right now, DowaQ needs to perhaps creep out this Goblin Observatory camp in order to make any headway. If he doesn't, then the Pandurian Brewmaster, who's currently seen at level 2, will be at level 3 and relatively shortly is going to just wreak havoc on the base. On the ghouls right now. Right now we have that Lich now trying to come out, trying to do some creeping, and with that Death Knight. Death Knight sitting at level 2, Lich sitting at level 1. Both of these heroes probably will not level at this point. Perhaps the Death Knight, but I do not think the Lich will. And Pandurian Brewmaster sitting at level 2, almost level 3. Perhaps going to creep out one particular creep camp. Warden probably in the... No, Warden trying to do some harassment right now. Trying to get some kill steals off. Death Knight sitting at level 2 right now. As we have an Obsidian statue healing up a lot of those units. Down goes a Forest Troll. Down goes another Forest Troll. And yeah, Death Knight is now a little bit shy of level 3 at this point. Level 2 on that Death Knight. Level 1 on that Lich. Death Knight and Lich now heading back to that south side to try to creep out this Goblin Observatory camp. Meanwhile, the Pandurian Brewmaster sitting at level 2 will get to level 3 as it creeps out this Rock Golem camp, Troll High Priest. If this camp drops a Tome of Experience and a Sobi Mask, I think that Pandurian Brewmaster will be able to just eat apart that army. Tome of Intelligence +2 And what was the item? Belt of Giant Strength. So very nice item for that Pandurian Brewmaster. Deals more damage, heals more quickly, and has more hit points right now. Death Knight along with that Lich continuing the creep. Stay tuned for part 2 and the conclusion of this replay between DowaQ and Czech here on Twisted Meadows.